Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's Kevin Forte, and today, yes, we are continuing our NHL season preview and prediction series here for the 2023-24 NHL season. Today, of course, we're staying in the Metropolitan Division on the East Coast, looking at the Columbus Blue Jackets. So the Columbus Blue Jackets are an interesting team. We obviously know things did not go well for them last year, finishing the season with around 56 points. Not a great season for the Blue Jackets, and they're hoping to build on that this season. A couple of big changes for the Columbus Blue Jackets. New head coach behind the bench. They've got Mike Babcock coming in there. A couple of really good young players, which are very exciting for this franchise, bringing in number 2 overall draft pick Adam Fantilli. There's a lot of excitement around him. Or number 3 draft pick Adam Fantilli. Apologies for that. And obviously you're going to see some changes on the back end, which is really a big thing here for the Blue Jackets. A completely new defense. Some questions at goaltending. We're going to decide if they could be a playoff team here in 2024. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, some of the big changes for the Columbus Blue Jackets this past offseason, like I said at the top of the video, a lot of it has to do with defense. Defense was the big storyline for the Columbus Blue Jackets here as they added a couple of pretty noticeable additions, bringing in a couple of guys via trade. Damon Severson from the New Jersey Devils, Ivan Provorov from the Philadelphia Flyers, really at the top of the list. Now, obviously, this is to rebuild that defense that has been kind of a problem for them the last couple of years as they've continued this retool, rebuild, whatever you want to call it, there with Jarmo Kekalainen and the Jackets. But this team is expecting some different results with some of these guys coming in, and some of these guys are kind of boom or bust. Damon Severson had a down season with the Devils last year. The depth got better in New Jersey on the back end. It kind of seemed like he was becoming an odd man out. And then you look at Provorov, who kind of in a similar situation, a highly regarded draft pick, was a top pairing defenseman potential, and things just fell apart in Philadelphia, especially last season. So they have 2 guys that are coming in with a chip on their shoulder from the Metropolitan Division. They'll be playing their former teams a lot this year. I think there's a lot to like with these guys, but the question is, how are they going to adapt with Mike Babcock? Are they going to be motivated, or are they going to see this as kind of a negative and it's just not going to gel? That's going to be a huge thing for those 2 players in particular. Now, there's not a ton of change to the offense for the Blue Jackets, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention Adam Fantilli, who was the 3rd overall pick in the 2023 NHL draft for the Blue Jackets. Fantilli is coming over from the University of Michigan, the way we all planned it would go, right? So he's not too far down the road coming over to the Blue Jackets. There's a different makeup in terms of the group of guys we're going to see because of Fantilli coming in. Now we're going to see the lineup change a little bit. You're going to see Kent Johnson potentially moving to the wing, and this is from Daily Faceoff. So don't say, oh, these aren't the lines. This is from Daily Faceoff, so take with it with a grain of salt, but this is how they have it. You've got Kent Johnson, Adam Fantilli, Kirill Marchenko, and then you've got young guys like Cole Sillinger in there, Matthew Olivier, who is kind of a developing, budding prospect that's now in his mid-20s. They're hoping to see more from him. So there's a lot of guys on this roster that are trying to prove themselves, whether it's because they're a young player trying to make their way into the NHL, or a guy that's been around for a couple years, kind of a middling player like Provorov or Severson or Olivier, trying to make their mark in the NHL. And kind of the same thing even for guys like Patrick Laine. Now, this is an interesting group for the Blue Jackets because you look at some of the younger guys, and Daniil Tarasov, I would still consider a rookie. He's not technically a rookie. He played a couple games last year, did not perform too well. I would expect to see a little bit of an improvement there, especially with a better defense in front of him and Mike Babcock as the coach. I think things will be better there. And of course, Adam Fantilli is the other young guy that's going to be on the roster. So for the Blue Jackets, it's about Fantilli and Tarasov. Those are the 2 young guys to watch / rookies going into this season. Now, my breakout candidate for the Blue Jackets is kind of an easy one. This is really not much of a, it's kind of a no-brainer, and it's Adam Fantilli. Adam Fantilli, there's so much hype around this guy. Those top 3 guys between Connor Bedard, Leo Carlsson, and Adam Fantilli, that was the cream of the crop here in the 2023 NHL Draft. So for the Blue Jackets, they got a really talented stud. This guy's going to be ready to go day one. He's going to be a middle 6 center, whether he's playing on the 3rd or 2nd line to start his career in Columbus. But he's going to be my breakout candidate for the Blue Jackets, and he has some guys around him. It's not like he's being left on an island in Columbus. He's going to be playing on the power play likely. He's going to be playing maybe a little bit of penalty kill to develop his skills skills a little bit. It's going to grow his confidence. He's going to get a lot of ice time. I think it's a good thing here for Adam Fantilli. Now, my prediction here for the Blue Jackets is, considering they finished the season with 56 points last year, I think an improvement this year would be anywhere between 30 to 35 wins, maybe even 40, maybe. But I think that's on the high end, so I'm going to go with them getting anywhere between 30 to 35 wins, 80 to 85 points. I think that's still a 30-point improvement, which is a lot. But I think with some of the moves they made here, there is still some questions about the goaltending. And let's be honest, let's be intellectually honest here. That Metropolitan Division is a factor. And when you're playing a lot of these teams that, or even the middling teams, I just don't think they're better than even middling teams like the Islanders or the Rangers or the Capitals or even the Penguins at this point, who now added Erik Karlsson. That matchup got a lot tougher. So those are 4 teams that I don't even think are for sure playoff teams. And I think they're still better than the Blue Jackets. So with that said, I think there is definitely going to be a lot of improvement for the Blue Jackets this season. A better structure, a better system, a new voice there with Mike Babcock. But my genuine concern here is this going to be kind of how things went in Toronto? Because you've got so many young guys on this team. Is Mike Babcock going to be able to adapt to the development and the growth of the younger players on this team? And you've got a lot of them here. And whether they're rookies or young players, you've got Adam Boqvist, who's a young guy, Andrew Peeke, who's still fairly young, Cole Sillinger, who played his first season last year. Same thing for Kent Johnson. Adam Fantilli, who's going to be a rookie this year. Kirill Marchenko is still fairly young. So there's a lot of younger guys on this team. I think it's going to be interesting to see how quickly Boone Jenner becomes Mike Babcock's favorite player, because I think Boone Jenner is that type of player. So expect a good season from Boone Jenner this year, especially if he's going to be potentially playing on the top line with guys like Gaudreau or Laine, or even that combination of other young players. I think we're going to see a good season for Boone Jenner this year. He's a good player. I've always liked him. I think we're going to see that continue this year. So like I said, my prediction is that they miss the playoffs this year. They get anywhere between 30 to 35 wins, 30 to 35 points. That would be a genuine concern. 30 to 35 wins and anywhere between 80 to 85 points, which is still a vast improvement from last year, but not enough to make the playoffs in the East. So guys, let me know what you guys think down below. What do you guys think of the Columbus Blue Jackets this season? Do you think they're a playoff team? Do you not think they're a playoff team? Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.